Hello, welcome to the Colourful Creativity podcast. My name is Caroline and this is episode 137. You can find me online everywhere as Caroline, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Ravelry, the works, you know it. And I have a web shop, colourfulcreativity.nl or colourfulcreativity.com. And it is actually open. I just hit the button and reopened the shop. Yay! I'm sitting outside today because I thought I might try recording here. It seems to be quiet around me, so fingers crossed it will stay that way for about 30 minutes to an hour. Someone was heavily disagreeing when I was setting up, but I think he'll have his fame minutes. He's in the window. He's together with his sister sleeping in their bed, though he is awake. And we might get some protest that I'm denying him his minutes of fame on the internet. We'll see what happens. I might take him out if he wants to. Still a crafting podcast, so let's dive into everything I put outside on the table. It's a bit of a mess, but we'll figure things out. First, I have a finished object, and it is not knitting, it is a spinning. Look at that. Basically almost the size of my head. This is the rainbow spin I was doing. I did a fractal spin, which means that I did one half of the braid as is, so the full width of that part, and the other one I split in two. It was going to be a sock yarn, but it actually is a lace yarn, and I'm not going to knit socks with lace. So it is a merino nylon blend I dyed myself, and I really love how it came out. Look at that. There's some really nice barber pulling in there. It is ridiculously soft, and it definitely ranges from somewhere lace to decay. But that's fine. I mean, it's handspun. I've lowered the bar for my handspun. If I want perfect yarn, I'll go buy something. I have no clue what I'm gonna make with this. It poofed up amazingly. It is approximately 580 meters in 100 grams, so definitely lace weight. Yeah, no clue yet. We'll see what it grows up to be. My handspun is at the moment, basically, I like the spin and I don't really knit with my handspun, so no clue. But this really gave me the spinning bug again, and we will go into whips right away. I have spun up the neon braid I had dyed, which is a 100% merino, and here it is. It is already plied up. I just split the braid in half and spun both halves, and then did a simple 2-ply. I spun them on my e-spinner, and it was super easy. I put it on a bit of a high twist, so it went a bit faster as well, and yeah, the plying took me about an hour and a half instead of the 5 to 6 hours the other one took me. No, that was 2 days of that much. So it probably took me about 8 to 10 hours to ply the lace weight yarn. It is a bit underplied here and there, where I was afraid to have lots of overplied sections, but yeah, I still have to get used to the e-spinner and figure out how my ratios on my bliss are compared to the speed of the e-spinner. And so yeah, this one was spun with a bit more high twist and a bit faster, which was definitely really fast. And I have this much left that I still have to ply up. That's why it's not a finished object. It's not skeined, it's not washed, and I have some left. I tried making a plying bracelet, but it broke off. Then the bracelet came from my wrist and it was a tangled mess, and I was like, okay, it's done. It was 8:30 in the evening and I was like, okay, apparently I did enough today. basically spun this in 3 days. Yeah, that's how well the bug hit me. So I really enjoy spinning at the moment, and I'm not sure yet. I might just keep a leftover bobbin ply thingy or something, or I could just, when I'm feeling like it, make a 3-ply of it just to see how that looks. I'm not sure yet. And since I was enjoying the plying with my e-spinner and my woolly winder, I have here the number 2 and number 3 of my combo spin. And I heard you have to ply number 1 and 4 together and number 2 and 3 for a more consistent spin. Well, since that spin is taking me forever and a day, and like I started it in 2020, so forever and a day. I'm probably not too consistent between 1 and 4, so it's a good thing to ply those together. And I have started plying that as well. So here's the e-spinner and the woolly winder, and it is taking forever. I mean, 2 bobbins of 100 grams, so it's 200 grams that will fit on 1 bobbin on the e-spinner. And yeah, it's a low twist, so it's going slow. So I just sit there. It basically plies itself when I sit right and I put my finger just between the 2 strands of singles. It just goes, and it grabs together very nicely, and it just is amazing to see how that works. So I'm really enjoying that, and the fiber I'm using for that is a whole mishmash of different ones. I think there's a braid of Cantus Ablaze in there, some hand-dyed stuff, some leftover green from bats that I've used in other projects, and the green wasn't nice in the gradient there. I think there's a spinning mermaid braid in there that I got as a gift from my friend Aiden of Undercover Otter. So yeah, basically a whole mishmash combo spin, and I hope to get a sweater quantity out of it, so fingers crossed. Besides that, I have also knit. I have managed to finish the test knit, or at least finish the requirement of the test knit, which was 1 sock of the 2. And I have also cast on the second one, but it's still a secret test knit, so I cannot show you anything. But since I was knitting socks, I really enjoyed it. So in my unicorn bag by the little grey girl, I have also finished my Dilligaf sock. It was very nice to just sit here outside in the early mornings. We're having a heat wave here. It's like 33, 34 degrees daily, and that for already, I think, 4 or 5 days. It's like no fun anymore, but we still have a few days to go. Not enjoying it, but I will sit here outside in the morning when it's reasonably cool after I had my walk and my breakfast, and I just enjoy the quiet and the temperatures that are reasonable, and just sit and knit. So here is a plain vanilla sock in my soft sock base, and the colorway is called Dilligaf, which is short for Do I Look Like I Give a Fuck? I did a 2x2 rib, which I love, 15 rounds. I did a longer leg than my usual, so I went for I think it was 55 or 60 rounds. And then I did a slip stitch heel flap and gusset heel, and then just a simple foot for I think about 63 rounds, because that's how long my foot is. And then a bit of a rounded toe, so basically you decrease straight every other row for half of your stitches, and then you go every row, so you make it a bit more round. I really love this colorway. Here it is in the skein. It's also very fun to dye. And here is the second half. I already did the cuff, and I also did 2 rounds of vanilla leg. So yeah, I'm knitting these on higher sharps, 2.5mm, my absolute favorite go-to, especially for the soft sock yarn. So yeah, that is sock number 2 I can tell you about. And here in the big sheepy bag, I have the Slice of Light shawl. Let me grab the pad in front. Slice of Light by Sosu or Susanne Sommer. Here is what it looks like. And here is what mine looks like. Ta-da-da-da. I have managed to finish the first one color brioche section. Yay! My mom is still working on it, so I have put it aside until she's there and we can continue with the short row sections. It's gonna be stripy short rows, so I'm very curious. I saw it with some others because there's a German knit along going, hosted on Instagram. I'm not sure, I only think Kaken Yarns hosted together with somebody else, probably 2 people, but I do not remember the other ones because I do not follow the knit along. I only follow some people who joined the knit along. But since I'm knitting along with my mum, I'm having my own private knit along. Yeah, it took some time to explain my mum how to do the increases, and she thought that the yarn over you do a brioche knit yarn over brioche knit basically. She thought that the yarn over was to make a brioche stitch, so she kept knitting it together, so I had to keep fixing her knitting, which is absolutely fine and I can do that, but I think she got it now after a few repeats. And she really enjoys the brioche knitting actually, which I really like because we're gonna get some 2-color brioche later on. And if you see me doing this, it is because I can see my bra, but apparently you can't see it, so. And if you can see it, it's a very pretty bra, so whatever. So yeah, I'm knitting these at the moment on 4mm higher sharp interchangeables. You start out with 4.5mm for this section, and I measured my gauge. I could have done a 5 and a 4.5mm because I'm a really tight knitter, especially when I'm stressed out. The yarn I'm using, there's some floof in here, which is Colourful Kidsilk. So my own yarn, Colourful Kidsilk in Gold Storm. There you go, nice golden yellow. And then the yarn I'm currently using is this gorgeous yarn, which is a MCN, so a merino, nylon and cashmere by Spingodin, and the colorway is called Mama's Fieldjes, so mom's pansies. And then there's this one, and this is Araucania yarns and Bottany lace in a colorway that is just a number. I don't know, maybe you can decipher it if it is the code or the PT. I have no clue. The PO, pro form, or code. Whatever. No clue. It is the first time I'm actually mixing bases and just grabbing yarn from my stash that I'm like, wow, what happened? But I really hope to do that more often. I'm really enjoying this pattern, and the Kidsilk is not really my favorite. Mohair is itchy for me a bit, probably especially when it's warmer. When it's colder it might be fine. I have to give it a wash as well and see what happens. But if it doesn't work out for me, I will just figure out what to do with it. I will gift it to someone who needs a shawl, and I will make myself a new one, and I'm gonna try it with Suri silk, like the baby alpaca, Suri alpaca yarn there is, for some nice soft floof. So yeah, I have some of that, and I still have to dye it. But the shop may be open, but I'm not dyeing yet, so that's a bit too much. Yeah, those are basically the whips I've been working on the past 2 weeks. It's not that much. It's only been 2 weeks. What I do have is some acquisitions. Of course, they came the day off and the day after recording the previous episode, so I just kept them for today. I was looking at a video by Tracy of the PassioKnit Spinner, and I had already also seen some of it already, I think, in my friend Angela's podcast, the Yarn and Yarns shop and podcast. Yeah, I was lacking in the spinning and fiber book department. I do have some, but I needed some additions, and I treated myself to some yarn and some books for surviving my surgery, and surviving it well. And yeah, here is book number 1. This is the Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs by Sarah Anderson, and inside is like different kinds of yarn making. So you can do a 3-bead picot coil, a super coil with beaded pigtails, plying basics, basic 2-ply yarn, lots and lots of different yarns, techniques and things to do. You can go through this book. Let me see. Techniques for creating 80 yarns. So you can go through this book one by one and create 80 different yarns, and I've seen people do that, and it is amazing. I'm not sure what I'll do, but I'm pretty sure I will have some fun with the book. Then there is the Fleece and Fiber source book. More than 200 fibers from animal to spin yarns. So this book has so much info. It's really heavy as well. It has, like, let me see, the info for the sheep. So for instance, here you have Gotland sheep, and then it has like all the facts. So how much does a fleece weigh, what is the staple length, what is the fiber diameter, lock characteristics, and the natural colors. There's some info about the microns in the fiber diameters and such. And well, it has like all the sheep breeds, but then also other critters like camel, fur and pelt animals, possum, you can name it, it's in here. It's sheep, goats, alpacas, llamas, vicuñas, camels, bison, musk oxen, yaks, and more. So highly recommend this one. And this book is by Deborah Robson and Ekarius. And the last one that was also highly recommended by other people was Yarnitecture by Gillian Moreno. And yes, this is a great book. I've already read it fully. There are some things I am not a fan of, and that is that the patterns there, from the knitting patterns that are in here, there are 12 patterns, and there is quite some garments in here, and there's only one that is size inclusive, and the others are not. Like, yeah, you can go up to 58-inch bust size, but if you want a 6-inch positive ease, that means that I am the biggest size and I cannot recommend it to other people. Also, it's a worsted weight. I'm not gonna make myself a worsted weight sweater at all because it doesn't really appeal to me. It does have a lot of good explanation, like here, knitted fabric swatches with explanations how to get it and how it looks, and here are the fibers for it, how it looks when it is spun. But most of these things I have already learned from Ply magazine. So if I would recommend it, I would recommend it more to beginners. So this is the book where you start with. This is where you learn the difference between woolen and worsted, and how to ply, how to spin your singles, what to keep in mind, how to do a ply back, the whole shebang. So yeah, where I do see that this is a really good book, it didn't really hit the mark for me somehow, because I already knew what was in here. But definitely, if you are a beginner spinner looking into spinning, this is definitely a go-to book. Because lots of the Ply magazine issues that I got are no longer available, so yeah, maybe secondhand. But like I said, I not only got books, I also got yarn, and the yarn is here beside me. The kids are sleeping, yay! I think you can see it just below the gladiola. Gladiola? Not sure. I picked them from the garden because they were all lying flat, and I was like, yeah, I can't see it then, so I'll just cut it off and put it on a vase in front of the window so I can see it from my chair. It's definitely the best spot. I have ordered yarn from Garn Stories in Germany, and the lovely Anke, and I have been lusting over the Sushi with Belushi colorway for a million years. I think it must be 5+ years, all the way from the start of my knitting, but I really don't like singles yarn, and I saw this colorway at Stephen and Penelope a lot, but always in the singles yarn. This time there was a sale at Garn Stories, I think their summer sale or something, and they had 25% off, and I was like, and now I'm gonna get it, if I can get it in something else than the single space. And they had merino socks, which is basically the same as my smooth sock. It is 425 meters in 100 grams, and it is just a 75% merino and 25% nylon. And that is awesome because that's great for socks, but also for anything else I want to do with it. But I think it's gonna be socks. And since yarn travels badly alone, and I am heavily pushing on Colourful Sauberball, I got myself 4 of them. The first one I got is Jacke wie Hose, so jacket like pants. And I think this will be nice socks for Robert. A bit more muted, but still some interesting color in there for me to knit it. And the other ones I just got for myself because I love them. And I might actually knit a shawl out of it instead of socks, out of some of this. This one's really, really nice. It's called Camouflage. I don't really see the camouflage colors, but okay. Really like the teal with the orange. I got Zimtschnecke, so cinnamon snake, cinnamon, probably cinnamon bun, which is a purple and brownish colorway. As you can see, I'm already very much into autumnal colors, and this is called Meilenstein, which is basically milestone. And yeah, getting my uterus out is definitely a milestone, isn't it? So yeah, this one will be for me for sure. And yeah, I do have seen some patterns where they use a Zauberball together with a regular skein of semi-solid yarn, and I think I really like that, so I might do that. I could also use my handspun, of course, but you know, they might also turn all into socks, who knows. So let me pop these back in the bag. I keep everything basically in plastic Ziploc bags so it doesn't get dusty or anything can get near it. So yeah, so that was everything I wanted to show you. For personal talk, I'm doing okay. I am today 4 weeks after surgery and I still have 2 weeks to go for recovery. It's boring. You can see the output. I wanted a little bit more knitting, but I guess 2 socks and both cast on the second sock and did the top part, the ribbing, and a little bit more already. Did the shawl and did a lot of spinning, and spinning is really slow. I read a few books, I listened to a few books, I slept a lot, I baked a lot. What do you do? There's only so many hours in the day to be productive, and I'm definitely less productive. Oh, and I do walks. I'm currently at a good 1 kilometer walk, which is actually feeling okay. I started that on Saturday, so 2 days ago, and did it again yesterday, and then I was pretty sore. And this morning I went again. It was a bit cooler and it was fine, so probably also a combination of standing a lot on Saturday. No clue. I just have to keep pushing myself, but not too much, and just gonna listen to my body, as they say. Robert is also okay. He's tapering off the prednisone and it's going okay. His liver is back to full health and we're so happy with that. We hope it stays that way. Now he's tapering off the meds. It's gonna be a bit tense the next few weeks with all the tapering off all the other meds, but we'll see. We will see. I hope to be back to full strength in about 2.5 weeks when I get the okay to ride my bike again, so I can actually go out again, because I feel like flying up the walls. The only thing I do is a 1 kilometer walk at the moment in the morning when it's cool enough, and then we lock down the house, keep the heat out, and it's pretty boring. And yeah, we watched some nice series and movies. So that's the most exciting thing that's happening here. Yeah, finding a new series, binge watching it to the end. And we're just 6 episode series, so didn't really last that long. It was just a nice Sunday. Yeah, not much going on here. Like I said, the shop is open again. I can't dye yet, but I will see that I can skein up the last skeins that I left, so they are ready to go, instead of that I have to do a lot of work at the moment. They get ordered, and I have to clean up the studio big time because we just pushed everything into that room and there's just no room to stand. I have like 30 centimeters to walk through and the 1 square meter to open the door and to step inside. That's it. No. And we have to keep it closed because of the sun. In the morning shines on there, and yeah, it just gets way and way too hot at the moment. But yeah, oh well. I guess I'm gonna say goodbye, and we have kept this episode at 30 minutes, so well done. I wish you all a wonderful time, and I will see you again when I will see you again. Bye bye.